Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of 10 Minute Tuesday. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. In today's episode, I got my guy, Nick Haylund, in the building. Nick, what's going on, man?
Thanks for having me, Scoo. Not much, happy to be here. Ready to chat data.
Hey, love it, man. So let's go ahead and get into it. We've done a number of these. So Nick, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, so Nick Haylund here, located in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Currently rocking a sweatshirt because we do have a little bit of snow on the ground already here before Thanksgiving. I head up phData's analytics practice. So that's a team of about 80 folks now coming into the new year. Been here about 6 years, so it's been a good journey.
Wow, 80 people. That's insane. I didn't know you all have grown that much. That's crazy.
Yeah, and globally too. So we got folks in India, LATAM. It's been really exciting, getting a lot of talent from a lot of different locations there.
Well, that's awesome, man. So before you became Nick Haylund, director of phData, running a team of 80 people, you had to get your start somewhere. So Nick, what really compels you to get into data to begin with?
Yeah, I love that question. So for me, I backed into the data space coming into industry. So my first gig out of college was working at an ad agency as an accounting systems analyst. So, I had a really great manager there, Aaron Martin, who really encouraged me to kind of lean into the data space. So that meant automating my processes and learning VBA. And then I wanted more data. So I started teaching myself SQL on nights and weekends, wherever I can find time. And luckily enough, I got a license from our marketing department. So for Tableau, and I was like blown away. I was like, oh, the data can be beautiful. And so I wanted to pivot to, have that not be like 5 or 15% of my job. I want to make it 100% of my job. So more nights and weekends, skilling up in that. And that's really how I broke into the space and eventually found Alteryx. So the analytics engineering space was really interesting to me. Automating more processes, helping people save a lot of time so they can get out of, work and go check out their kids' softball games and everything like that. So I just loved it. I was all in.
Awesome, man. I love it. So really starting out with trying to solve a problem, right? How can I get more time back? How can I automate and help out? And then turn it into a professional. We're not going to name drop Alteryx Ace. Cough. How you do.
That opened a lot of doors too. And met a lot of great people in the community on that front. That was a good journey.
Yeah, love it. All right, so thinking about your journey, even though you're in data, I'm sure there have been jobs that you had before that you didn't like. So what's been your least favorite job? I was a pizza delivery. I worked in a warehouse. What's been your least favorite job you've ever had?
Totally. I had a lot of fun with the folks I worked with there, but McDonald's, that was there's a lot of toilet cleaning, a lot of grumpy customers and stuff like that. I will say, it was there for a couple of years. I got to work with my sister there, which was super fun, and a couple of really good best buds as well. But I think back to that, it kind of reminds me like this was a good test for being in the customer service business and stuff. Yeah. And kind of like learning empathy, I think is a good way to think of that when you're getting grumpy at customer service folks. You kind of have to kind of qualify it and be like, oh, how's their day going? What are they looking like? So it taught me a lot, but I'm excited not to be there.
I love that. So like I have a similar, I didn't work in the fast food industry, but my first job was at Finish Line. It was a Finish Line. And so it was all sales, customer service and everything, but it really I still lean on to some of those practices like you talked about of customer service or understanding, what behind the scenes stuff is dealing with. And even when you're like delivering the dashboard, analytic model, whatever it is, right? There's so much stuff behind the scenes when it comes to just that, relationship piece of it that you can draw from those early days.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's just true with like any job too. Like it continuously builds on itself to, make you, to the ultimate career superhero. And, don't sleep on some of the skills that you can pick up on any job that you're having, right?
Yeah, for sure. All right. So thinking about your journey, again, director, leading 80 people, but you had to go through a path to get there. So there's a concept called fail forward, right? Where quotation marks around failure. What's been your biggest failure to date and what did you really learn from the experience?
Yeah, good one. And failing forward is certainly something I resonate with. And thinking about kind of like the biggest gaps in my career, in terms of failures professionally. I think communication has been the biggest thing I've had to work on throughout the years, especially when communicating my own failures on a project or, as a leader communicating, certain things why we didn't meet, KPIs or why we didn't meet targets. And, owning that has been something of a struggle, not because like I shy away from the fact that maybe something, got messed up, But like when you're so emotionally involved with like a dashboard that you're delivering and someone's like, this isn't what I wanted at all. And then, it's really easy to go into defensive mode and being like, well, I've done this before, I've delivered that or delivered this and get defensive versus saying, let's talk more about that. Let's unpack that. Let's admit that, I missed the mark here and then let's move forward because maybe something was wrong. Doesn't mean it's bad or it doesn't have to be, a very terrible conversation. And one of the folks on my team, Jen Hunter, really drove this book for our team called Crucial Conversations, and it's all about leaning into those really difficult conversations to make sure, like, hey, the best time to have a conversation about something off track was probably yesterday. The next best time is like right now, and this news is not going to change. So like, lean into it, practice it, and it's going to be never easy necessarily, but it's going to get a lot easier to have those conversations. So yeah, failing on the communication piece has taught me to really lean into it and get better at it.
I love that. And I love the perspective of you put all this time and effort into building something and you think it's great. And then you get feedback and it's like, well, that missed the mark. And you're like, wait, well, no, I know this stuff. This is good. Like right. I stay up, 24 hours because I'm the expert in this. Right. And, that's the hard part that I don't think people talk about, that internal thing of like, no, I know this, but like, actually, let me listen to the client and the stakeholder and see what's going on there.
Right.
So,
that's right.
Awesome, man. That's good feedback. And that gives me good food for thought too, as well. All right. So the target audience of this podcast are typically people who are either started out in their data journey or they're trying to pivot in, or they might be in their journey at all. And they're just like, man, I'm stuck. I don't know what I'm doing. So, what is one piece of advice you give someone who's just starting out in their career?
Yeah. Saying yes to things, maybe there's a project at work, that you're like, it seems boring, or maybe like, I don't know how this, fits into what I'm doing on my day to day, or now I have to go to Power BI from Tableau and I don't want to do that. I already learned Tableau. I don't want to learn a new platform. Like, say yes, lean into those types of things. I think those experiences we kind of talked about before continue to build on themselves and help one out throughout their career. If you reach out to somebody and then, if someone reaches out to you, say, yes, let's have that conversation, or, yes, let's talk about maybe that opportunity, and saying like, yes, I will own that. And I'll take that problem that you have. Let me handle that for you. It's a great thing that your bosses and managers and mentors want to hear their folks say, and then carrying that out goes a long way to open up doors down the line or maybe even immediately.
Yeah, no, that's so true. I think we're probably both testament to this. The more we said yes, the more stuff is just open, whether it was leadership or individual contributor or learning a new skill set or whatever. Just the capability or the ability to say yes, it just broadens your horizon.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask for things too. I guess to that kind of same similar theme there is, if you see a project or something happening at work and you're really interested in doing that, ask. Like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? They're going to say no. Well, that's okay. There's a lot of no's in your careers, and there's a lot of failures and stuff, and sometimes it can be a quantity game on that front. So don't be afraid to also ask for opportunities on that front too.
Love it, man. Great advice. All right, Nick, tell me about the most influential people in your life and how they made an impact on you.
Yeah. A couple of the other videos I saw, you asked that question. I was like, oh, that's an easy one. Because I got to reference my mom. It's actually her birthday today.
Hey, happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah, so shout out Sue. Happy birthday. My mom's the best. She raised my sister and I as a single mom growing up, and she was just like a superhero. So she sacrificed a lot for us, and throughout that, she always had time still between her work. Somehow made it to every single baseball game for me. Somehow made it to every ice skating lesson for Nicole, and taking us everywhere. So someone like as motivating as that can do all of that. And then I think about like, how am I going to manage multiple projects or team dynamics? And I think back to that, I'm like, yeah, let's qualify it. Like, it can't be that difficult. I'm not raising two kids by myself. So certainly the most influential person there, personal life, and, definitely taught me a lot of great stuff that I can bring into my professional life. And, on that front too, like, my sister, my twin, Nicole, she's been a very influential person in my life, always very motivating. And I guess the theme is, a lot of great women in my life. I've got a great wife who's very motivating and a very inspirational person. And even my team. I mean, it's 3 women that are on my direct team here, and got Anna Batani, Aiden Brommel, Jen Hunter. So like the theme is like strong women are all around me in my life and all very influential.
Man, shout out to the women, man. Shout out to Mom. Shout out to twin sister. Shout out to the phData fam, man. Y'all doing great, man. Shout out to everybody. That's awesome. It's crazy. Like even looking back, like it's, I think maybe growing up, right, just like single parent and all that, right? It's such a easy word to say, but then like as you like kind of see stuff, is like, how in the world did they do all this and be present and still do? It's like insane.
Absolutely. It's impossible to think about, and somehow
Yeah.
coming out the other side of that. And it's now we can hang out and go to brunch and reflect back on the tougher times and stuff, and
Yeah.
still think back to that. It's like, how did you
How?
do that?
All right, Nick, where can listeners find you at online?
Yeah. Well, pretty boring socially media wise. I'm usually pulling up LinkedIn before Instagram on most days, but folks can find me there. Nick Haylund. Used to be a little more active on old Twitter, but I'm still out there lurking on the data community, seeing what cool things people are building. So you can find me out there too.
Nice. Follow him on LinkedIn. Follow him on Twitter. We'll get him on Blue Sky one day. Get him on Blue Sky.
Oh, yeah.
He'll be on there. And then we'll get him on YouTube channel. Get all that content out of his brain onto the interwebs so that people can understand what's going on. All right, man. Nick, this was great, man. Thank you so much for taking time out today, man. This was awesome.
You got it. Thanks for having me. I feel like I'm amongst data giants now. So appreciate you.
I appreciate it, man. And as I said in the beginning, if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll talk to y'all next week. Y'all have a great day.